So we're back, talking head video, interesting one this time. So what we did was we asked our friends to give us 20 questions to help you guys get to know us better. We thought, you don't really know us. You've watched some of us, if you've subscribed, if you're lucky enough to subscribe so far, you might not know us that well. We've just dove into like a New York vlog and then just telling you about things and then like, hey, come along on date nights. So this is 20 questions to get to know us a little bit better about why we started the channel, who we are and what we do with our lives. So let's just dive in.
Hello. So question one. Why did we start doing this? Why did we want to start making YouTube videos and why do we want to travel more? Basically, every teenage girl in 2016, I watched a lot of vlogging channels and I really enjoyed it. And then as I got older, I kind of fell into watching people do travel vlogs. And this was even before I met Martyn. This is just something that I watched before. And then I just want to go and do more, go to more places and do more things. And like the idea of putting it out there so other people can join in with me, plus it's something really good to look back on. I'm really excited to like look back on like our New York vlogs like in like 3 years time. We can just be like, oh yeah, remember when we did this, remember when we did that. And I just think it's a really fun way, just keeping track of all the things that you do.
Honestly, boredom. We wanted a creative outlet for some stuff and I thought, why not do this at the same time? Like, we go out a lot to restaurants and bars and we want to travel more, like Amy said. So if the creative thing I'm going to do is going to be fun and something I'm interested in doing anyway, I might as well just do this. So yeah, it seemed to make sense. It just seemed really logical that we'd combine wanting to do more creative stuff with the thing that we want to do in real life, which is travel more and eat at more restaurants, drink more drinks and just have a lot more fun and just get out of the damn house. So the next question was question 2. How did you meet and, you know, why do you want to like do travel stuff? What made travel stuff more than anything else? And I think that's a stupid question first off, because these are coming from our friends, so they know how we met. And yeah, we just kind of answered the travel stuff. But for you guys, we knew each other for a while through mutual friends. And then when Amy's relationship ended last year, we just kind of started hanging out more and it kind of evolved into what it is now. There's more to it than that.
That's a story for another time.
It's a big story for another day that we're not going to share on camera today. There's depth. There's a lot more complicated bits than that. But I think like our want to travel was just like I was not financially available or kind of like able to travel more when I was younger. And I think there's a lot of catching up to do. And yeah, I think I was my previous partner before, Amy, she wanted to travel, but she kind of wanted to do the same things over and over again. So I think this is a push for us to be more diverse in mine is to be more diverse in my travel and again, travel more.
Very, very similar. My ex really wasn't that bothered about going anywhere. Just travel was just not part of anything he was interested in doing. And it's something that I really wanted to do. And I basically settled down really early. I was like 20 when we got together. So like, I feel like the stuff that people do when you're like 18 to 21, 24, like somewhere in that age bracket, I just never did.
That kind of thing post uni where you take your gap years and, you know, like I've got a part-time job, but like I'm just
got no responsibilities
and go try. I mean,
yeah, we both had like renting from really young age. We moved out
both really young, both at like 18, 19. I got married at 21 and then divorced at 25. So like my early 20s was, typical. And like there's a lot of kind of missed youth.
Yeah.
In both of our lives. So I think this is us catching up.
It is. I'm not saying that like you can only travel when you're young and stuff, but I feel like that's when most people do it. So I'm so like, let's just do it now. Yeah. Why not?
And we successfully glossed over the question of how we met. So question 3 that came in, can you give us a standout moment? Not can you stand? Most days I can stand up. Can you give us a standout moment from your travels so far? I think for me, that would have been the first trip together that we took. We went to York for the weekend. It's a historical city in England. And it was just how well everything went. We just clicked. so well. This was only maybe 2 months into our relationship, and we just clicked so well. There was no arguments, no fuss. It was kind of like, what do you want to do? Oh, I fancy this thing. Yeah, that sounds good. What do you want to do? Oh, I fancy this thing. Yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to just take a walk and like have a look around this area that we haven't been to yet? Yeah, brilliant. Oh, this place looks cool. Should we pop in here? Yeah, amazing. And yeah, I think that was the standout thing for me. Like that first trip, no stress at all. And like, from, you know, going back to previous relationships which I've had where that would be stressful, that would be kind of like, oh, we're here now, and then the stress starts, and then that's just like a weekend away would turn into just one long argument basically.
No, I definitely agree. It was weird how easygoing we both were. It was just like, let's do this, and there was no awkward, I don't really know what to do, or I don't know, that doesn't sound really that fun. It was just actually, we're having a really nice time together, and any of these really random stuff that we decided to do, we'd say like, yeah, cool. And then like, even like the next morning, we were struggling a little bit to figure out where to get breakfast. And like, I don't know if it was like not a week, I can't remember. It was either not a weekend, but there wasn't many places open or everywhere was really busy.
It's Bank Holiday Sunday.
Yeah, like everything was really busy. And like, it just made me so anxious because before previous people, I know that would have been such a stressful experience. And it's just like, let's just get something to eat. Let's just get something to eat. And this was just like, oh, let's find somewhere. And we just literally wandered over and was like, I have no idea what this place is, but let's have some scrambled eggs on toast.
Good scrambled eggs on
toast.
It
was really tasty, actually.
It was good. And we nailed it.
Exactly.
And I mean, the other thing is as well, like, we're just casual with these things. So we literally asked someone in a coffee shop, where would you recommend for breakfast?
Yes.
And they were like, here's 3 places. We're like, cool, let's walk and look at all 3 of them and see what happens.
Yeah, one of them was like queuing out the door and we were like, nah.
So we went to the 3rd place and then we were just like, oh yeah, no, this looks good.
And then even then, like after breakfast, we had like a few hours before our train and we were like, what should we do? And we just ended up going to like the museum. And it's like, it's definitely like a museum designed for children, but it was just so much fun. And we just kind of wandered around and like also go to the, what is it called? Is it like the Castle Museum or something? Is it just called the York Museum?
Is it the Castle Museum?
I don't know, but find it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like they've got like a really cool like little city. Like so like an old village.
Old village underground.
Yeah.
Like a recreation of an old street.
Yeah.
From like a Victorian era.
Really cool. Like, yeah, so do that if you're in York.
So next question was, what do you do to plan trips? Like I said, we're quite planny people. We like to plan things to an extent. We don't like rigidity. We like to go with the flow of things. But we're also anxious people. So we like to know from point A to point B. So for example, when we went to New York, it's how do you get from JFK to Manhattan? It's kind of those bits. It's like the flight makes sense to us because we just go to Heathrow. We've done that several times. We get to Heathrow, get on a damn plane, and we go to wherever we're going to, right? But it's like when you get to the airport, which is never in the center of a city, how do you get into the center of a city? It's those bits that we like to plan. So we kind of do a lot of research on YouTube. We use a lot of different YouTubers and take their advice. But I'm also like a Google Maps peeper. So I'll go on Street View. And if I want to know how to get from like a hotel to an attraction, then I'll just do it on Street View and just like pre-do it. If that makes sense. We plan in that sense. We're kind of like structured planning people, but we're not, the activities that we do are not rigid.
The thing that we definitely, the thing we like looked into the most was 100%. How to get to the city from the train, from the airport. Like everything else, we kind of looked and was like, these are the few things that we want to do. And then that's how and then we fitted everything else around that.
It's like even when we went to Wembley, like we were staying central London in Tower Bridge, and Wembley's obviously in the northwest of London. So it's like, how the hell do we get to Wembley? And then when a gig finishes at like 11 p.m, how do we get back from Wembley into central London? And so we just researched the crap out of those bits of the trip.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we didn't make a list of restaurants or attractions and things like that. We just kind of went, you know, we've got those, the structure, we've got the framework, everything else around it is like, yeah, chill, let's do it.
Yeah. 4?
5?
I don't know, I've lost count. We'll figure it out.
Question 4 or 5?
One or the other.
Whatever. It'll be on the screen. Who cares? What else do you like to do apart from travel? Again, a weird question coming from our friends because they know us. But we like to eat and drink. That's what we like to do. We like restaurants. We like nice cocktail bars. And that's just something that we both have a shared interest in. Again, we've mentioned it previously. We both work in hospitality. So that's something we've both done since we were like 17. And that's, yeah, a very shared interest of ours.
It sounds like whenever we do it, it sounds like all we do is like drink pints and get on it. And it's not even like that kind of thing, is it? It's
No,
like, let's go and eat some like really nice food. And I'm not talking like fancy Michelin star restaurants or anything. It's just like some like random.
We just like nice food and nice drinks and just being out and about and having a relaxing time. And that's why we started our date night series, because we were kind of like, all right, well, we're ramping up our travel content and getting more things booked, getting more money to book these things. Hint, YouTube, monetize us. Then let's do a date night series, and you can check out some of our favorite restaurants and you can explore new food and drink with us at the same time. Question 6 was like, what do you like doing when you go to new places? It's like food. And again, just to go off what we said before, we really like just like finding new restaurants and stuff like that. And there's good food everywhere. We've said this before in one of our previous videos, our Takero video from the date night thing. Good food is not just found in big metropolitan cities, your New Yorks, your Londons, your Tokyos. You don't have to go to these places to get the best food, because like Michelin stars don't mean crazy amounts most of the time, and there is plenty of stuff out there that is as good as something with a Michelin star, something that's been hyped up in Time Out or any of these, The Guardian or whatever. There's plenty of great stuff out there, and you just got to go find it. And like we've said before, even if we're not traveling, like getting on a plane, going on a full holiday, packing a bag, all this kind of stuff. Sometimes we just like to go to other cities. We'll take a day trip to Birmingham. We'll take a day trip up to Leeds or Manchester, because there's good stuff there. There's great restaurants with interesting menus that you just don't hear about on a global stage, or because they haven't got a good PR department. So for us, yeah, food's like a big one. And then the rest of it, just cool stuff. Just finding things, like walking about, seeing some cool graffiti, finding a little bookshop with some interesting stuff in it. Just like random stuff. Like stuff that's not right here on our doorstep and not on the same strip of street that I walk down every day, 5 days a week.
Like adding on to what he was saying, it is genuinely just finding cool stuff that we don't see every day. Like when last time we were in London, we just found this really random building that was just really cool. It's just weird. What was it called?
It's the Lloyd's building, isn't it?
The Lloyd's building.
Yeah,
it's just like some
the funnest building with the dullest people inside.
Yeah, it was like some mad brutalist concrete.
Well, metal. It was all
metal. That
was like an inside-out building. I've never seen it before, never heard of it, and then I could have Googled it after. I was like, the Lloyd's building.
It's sort of
an
Lloyd's
insurance firm.
Yeah.
You got the coolest building but the dullest people.
That's it. And then like just especially Martin, like taking loads of cool photos, and like we'll find, like I said, again, in London, we found this really random bridge in Shoreditch that was just absolutely covered in graffiti, and it's just like a really fun spot. And then when we were in New York, we just found this random little dive bar that I'd never heard of. It never comes up in any of the like videos of where to go and eat and drink. And it was like, we ended up going back there like 2 or 3 times because it's just such a cool place.
Yeah, it was chill. Double Down Saloon in the East Village.
Like, so good. Like, it's the chill. Cheapest place we drank the whole time as well.
Yeah. A bunch of porn on the TV.
There is. There's loads of lesbian porn.
Yay.
So, typical dive bar.
Yeah.
What was one of the most surprising experiences that we had while we were, or like the weirdest thing that we found, was definitely when we were just wandering through the financial district on like a bank holiday Sunday, trying to find somewhere to get a drink or some food or something, and there was just nothing open. Don't go to the financial district in London on a Sunday. There's nothing, just so you know. And we just found this like queue of people, and we were like, what on earth is going on here? So we were like, fuck it, we'll join the queue. And then we realized it's like to a viewing rooftop. What are they called? What are they called?
Well, it's just like a rooftop, isn't it? It's just like it's just a rooftop.
But like the ones in New York have an actual name.
They're just...
I don't know.
They're just viewing roofs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Roofs with a viewing platform.
So basically, and it was like entirely free, and you just got some really, really cool views of the city. And it was just like, if we didn't just join that queue, we wouldn't have found it.
Yeah, and it was so unassuming.
And it's
like
free.
It looked like like in a crappy mall, like a really tacky mall, and then there was just a queue of people. Like, what is this? That's probably some stupid, like a Harry Potter exhibition or something. And then we just joined the queue, did a quick Google, and was just like, oh, okay, yeah, so it's a free rooftop that you can go look around.
Yeah. I think there was like some bougie restaurant in there as well, wasn't there, or something? But like the rooftop itself, like you got some really cool shots from the top of the city, and like it was just cool.
Yeah.
Free.
Next question was how do you align your tastes? And we just align really well.
Yeah, like
not to brag, not to say that we're like perfect and have a perfect relationship, but our tastes align pretty well. We nail it.
we end up wanting to do the same thing. So we never really have to like juggle, who wants to do this and who wants to do that. And it's never like, I suppose we'll do this. It's just like, no, we actually both want to do these things. So it works out quite well. Like even like CAD tasting food and restaurants and bars are all very similar.
Never argue like, I don't want Chinese. I don't want Japanese food. I don't want Italian food. It's just like, whatever, go with the flow is what it is.
I think as of yet, we've only been together for about a year, but like as of yet, we've not found anything that's massively inconvenienced one another.
Be jealous, we've nailed it. So next question was like, do you have any rituals or anything that you do every single time you do any travel? And it's like, yeah, we're a couple, and they're both pint related. So we have a pre-travel pint generally, and then we have what we've dubbed a calibration pint. And that makes us seem like alcoholics, but we're not. It's just a really convenient way to do both these things. So we don't like rushing. We're people who don't like rushing. We don't like want to run to the train station and get run for the platform and try and get on the train like 2 seconds before. We don't like that.
We have done that a few times.
Yes, through circumstance. But we like to just get there early and find somewhere nearby where we can just sit and relax. And we found for us, having a pint of beer, sitting there, decompressing from the first bit of travel is just like key for us to be relaxed and happy while we're traveling. And the second one, which we dubbed our calibration pint, is when we get to a new place and we want to kind of work out what we want to do, we just kind of go find somewhere to sit. And it doesn't have to be a pint, it can be a coffee, but whatever. We just like to take the pressure off. Again, we've just done a bunch of travel. We're at the new place. What are we doing next? Do you want to rush around? I don't want to rush around. I don't want to stress out myself. I just want to sit down, relax, talk it through, and then just look on our phones and work out what we're going to do next. And again, do that Google Street View thing and kind of go from there. Yeah, that's our kind of like two rituals, really. And then typically when we're on holiday for a longer period of time, we will then do that at breakfast every day. So we will, every time we get up in the morning, we're like, get breakfast, calibrate, go for the day.
So the next one is, are there any other channels that have inspired our travel style? I don't necessarily think that there's channels that have inspired how we do our vlogging. There's definitely channels that have inspired us how we don't want to do it. But more the people that we watch and things we do give us inspiration of where we want to go. Like I said, I think we're doing quite well at finding our own style. We're not like super similar to anyone else. I mean, must be. There's so many people doing it, but like we're not aiming to be like anyone else. But then there's the people like Yukara and Nate's, and then like other random people that we spotted, and they were at cool places, and we're like, oh, yeah, that place looks amazing. Let's add that.
I think it's starting. It adds bucket list stuff. Like there's a lot of people who we've added bucket list stuff from watching their travel channels. And like Amy said, there's a bunch of people who we've watched and we're like, we don't want to do that. That's not the style for us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
One of the biggest YouTubers that does travel stuff is a guy called Trek Trendy. We've mentioned him before and featured one of his clips in a previous video. But we don't want to present our channel like him. We watch that channel almost like...
Every time he pulls that video, we're like, oh God, we're going to have to watch it.
We're going to have to watch it just to see what he's doing, because we want to see the place that he's going, because he does a lot of really cool, expensive stuff. And you kind of like, I want to watch that, but we almost like hate watch it. This
is no shade. There's definitely people that like his kind of stuff. Like he's making bank off it.
And he's probably fine, but my God, that man is a bit cringe. Like, just watch some of his videos and, watch out for the bingo card of catchphrases. Every time he has a Diet Coke and calls it a DC, or every time he gets to that, it's time to kick the Timbs off as he kicks his Timberland boots off. And it's like, oh, we have a love-hate relationship with it. Like, the videos are quite well produced, but it's not for us.
It is genuinely my dream to have someone hate watch our channel. Someone to be like, oh, they've made a video, we're going to have to watch it, and then sit and complain about it the whole time. Honestly, it's my YouTube aim.
Yeah, and it's funny, actually. You mentioned Cara and Nate before. Cara and Nate, we quite like the channel.
I like them.
I find it quite charming. They seem to be nice people. I don't know them, but they come across well. But you go on the Cara and Nate subreddit, and my God, people seem to hate watch that channel. They're like, oh my God, Cara did this. Oh my God, Nate did this. Oh my God. And it's just like, all right, guys, do you actually enjoy the content? Why are you even here? So we're both into music, and the next question was, is there any kind of music stuff that, you do? Like, there's a playlist that you have or anything like that? And we're not cheesy like that. We don't sit there with like a headphone in each ear, sharing some headphones, going, oh, let's listen to our joint. Shut
That's
up.
so
That's
2012.
so cheesy. We're not those people. But what it does do is inspires the kind of way we put things in videos. Like, I hate when you get that plinky plonky 117 BPM weak ass house music on every travel video. It's like do 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 do, and it's just kind of like it's the same stuff over and over again. Sounds like a fake Major Lazer from 2014. So I try when I'm doing most of the editing to put in stuff that reflects us. Like, we both love kind of like Midwest emo. I love, like, a big fan of loads of like 90s grunge bands, like a lot of like throwback 90s rock. And I try to take things like that and put them in the video to be us. And again, to have our own style and not just have that, hey, generic travel log. Let's go. Here's a drone shot. Here's a song. Here's a slow motion shot. Oh my God. I look the same as everyone else.
The next question, I've 100% lost count now. I'm the foggiest. Is how do you go about finding new places to sort of eat and drink, especially like small places, culturally relevant places, rather than just going to big chains? Honestly, we just kind of wander around until we find somewhere that looks cool and authentic, or even just like a small place. That when we went to Double Chicken Please, that was incredible, and like that's a massively hyped up place. But then one of the best places that we went to while we were in New York was this tiny little yakitori place, and it was just small and random, and it was just delicious. I think you've just got to go to places, you've just got to try it.
Just walk into places.
Yeah, just walk in. Like, don't overthink it. Just like, okay, this place looks cool, and you know what? If it's not and it sucks,
oh my God,
oh, you've wasted like $30 or 20 quid. Like, which is obviously not ideal, but.
Yeah, and
you can also have a funny story.
Also, if it's bad, just leave.
Yeah, good point.
That's it. I mean,
have one drink and leave.
Just don't dine and dash. But yeah, if nothing's catching your fancy on the menu, just have one beer and leave. And go to the next place. What's the worst that happens? Oh no, it's slightly awkward. How terrible. Get over it.
He's saying that like that would not absolutely ruin me having to go through something so awkward. I'd like.
The next one was just a memorable dining experience, and Amy touched on it already. The yakitori place in New York. We just found it randomly in St. Mark's Place, and we walked in, and it smelled great. The food looked great. Huge open kitchen, great service. So we just had a couple of saporos and a bunch of yakitori, and honestly, that was probably one of the best meals we've ever had total. And it was just out of the blue. And we just walked in. There was literally 5 Japanese restaurants in a strip. We picked that one because it looked the most authentic and had like a bunch of stuff on the outside that looked really cool. And we're like, yeah, sweet, done.
Plus, you love yakitori. You love meat on a stick.
Yakitori. We had yakitori last night. I do love meat on a stick.
My favourite places that we ate is just super random. So in New York, there's this like big brewery called Brew York. They do really good beers and like general just nice cocktails and drinks. But like upstairs, they've got this like random like Japanese, Korean sort of street food place. And I think what's called, what is it?
Yuzu street food?
Yuzu street food, yeah. And they just do like rice bowls and bao buns and stuff. And it was like a completely random find again. We knew about the brewery, we wanted to go there, but then we saw the food and we're like, yes. And it was like rice bowls and it was so good. Like,
Asian food again.
Again, it's just, we have a theme going.
Yes, we quite like Asian food. So.
But yeah, that was absolutely one of my favourite places. If you're from the UK and close to York, or if you're planning a trip to York, I would massively recommend it. It's like not mad expensive. And if you're going to somewhere, there's some really nice cool places to sit outside by the river. It's just nice and it's casual. Again.
And it leads us on to the next question, which is what's one dish that you really enjoyed? Is there anything that like stood out for you?
I think so far I've not massively found anything like that I desperately want to go back to a certain place for just for that. Like don't get me wrong, that like I said, that street food was really good and I'd happily have it again. But I quite like trying new stuff a lot, and there's so many places that I would like to return to at some point. But yeah, I can't say there's massively one thing that I'm like, oh, I just have to go and have that again. There must be something. Well, I'm sure I was talking about something the other day.
Possibly. Was it the Wagyu beef? Because that beef was damn good.
That was the only thing I ate, so. Actually, no, there was definitely something that I was talking about the other day and I was like, you have to do this, but I can't remember. But off the top of my head.
You think about that. And then maybe next time we'll dip it in.
Maybe I'll just post an Instagram story at some point. Like, is this? Everyone go here.
I remembered it was like yesterday when we were out for a drink and I couldn't remember the name of that damn cocktail. It took me like nearly 30 minutes. It was like
Sazerac.
The Sazerac. I eventually remembered it.
It's not that tasty.
It's very tasty. Don't listen to us. She doesn't like whiskey. For me, I've got like a couple. The Irish coffee at Dead Rabbit is unrivaled. I've had some really good Irish coffees in my life. Cottonmouth in Nottingham used to have a banging Irish coffee called the Musket, which had like raspberry dust on top, which was incredible. Tilt has one here, which is also really good. But Dead Rabbit's Irish coffee is just,
it was delicious.
It's unrivaled. It's just like, it's just good times. And I'd go back daily for that if I could. And then the next one was like, I've been to Chicago a lot. So it's not somewhere me and Amy have been together, but I've been to Chicago quite a few times. And deep dish pizza. I know a lot of people don't think it's real pizza and it's like quite divisive, but I like what it is. My favorite style of pizza is New York style, sure. And my second favorite style is Neapolitan style. But as a dish, I like a deep dish pizza as like an individual thing. And yeah, I'll feel like garbage afterwards for sure because it's heavy and so much cheese and it weighs you down.
I'm really excited to try it.
Yeah, it's like it's an experience, and yeah, I want some deep dish pizza again. I want to go back and have some like bloody good, dirty deep dish pizza.
Everyone makes me think of is that old TikTok sound where it's like the cheese is under the sauce. The cheese is under the sauce, and like when you were showing me it, as all I kept saying like all the way through watching those videos, and I was just like, the cheese.
Next question is there anywhere you want to go back to? And like I said just then, Chicago will be one of them. Or anywhere that you think you're going to find yourself going back to. And I think New York's probably going to be one of those places. A, because there's just like loads to do. Well, B, because my brother lives there. So it's always going to be nice to go and see him. And I think as well, there's a lot of the states that we want to check out. Like we want to go to Texas and we want to go like San Francisco. We want to go, again, do a load of stuff all over the states and just check it out. But I think New York will be a base for us. Like we'll go there, spend a couple of days there, calibrate, have a pint, recalibrate, and then go to our next destination. There's a flights as well. Like UK to New York flights are like 6 hours, which is manageable. 6 to 7 hours is really manageable.
You say that the way back is not manageable.
The way back is hard work. You're knackered. But San Francisco, for example, is like can be 10 to 12 hours. And I was stuck on one flight once coming back from San Francisco to the UK, which took 17 hours because we hit a headwind. So I think breaking up our travel with a stop on the very East Coast bit will probably be something we do quite a bit.
The other one is, how do you immerse yourself in different cultures while you're doing stuff? So this isn't actually something that we've massively experienced so far. We've only really done UK trips and then New York, and obviously American culture is not vastly different from our own. I think like one of the top things that I definitely just sort of recommend is just learn a little bit about where you're going and learn a little bit about like their like politeness and then like stuff. I was word for it, but I can't remember.
And just do what other people do.
Yeah,
and
don't
also
be a dick.
Just don't just be loud and rude.
Touristy.
And it's just like act like you normally would.
Yeah, be nice.
Unless you're loud and rude in normal life, and
then don't do that.
Then don't do that. But look at the way other people are around you. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Like I definitely think do a little bit of research in like if there's any like massive social faux pas that you could make while you're there. And then I also would recommend sort of learning like the really basics in a language. I'm not saying like teach yourself Japanese or Spanish or Indian or that's not even a language, but you know what I mean.
Most of India speaks English, to be fair.
Well, okay. Well, you know where I'm getting at. But like, I think just like learn your pleases and your thank yous and your hellos and goodbyes. And I think, be polite.
I've had that before in France where people are like, oh, the French is so rude and blah, blah. And like, if you just try and speak a little bit of French, everyone's like, oh, at least you tried.
10 minutes Googling. That's literally all you have to do.
Hello and how much and goodbye and all it. Yeah.
Just like, I think do some research and just be nice. Don't be like, oh, well, this is different than what I'm used to. And yeah. I don't think we're going to have too much issues with it. I feel like we're quite.
No, we're also not one of those people that goes, why can't I get a pint of Stella in the middle of Japan? It's just like.
Also, why would you get a pint of Stella in the middle of Japan when they've got Asahi and Sapporo?
And Kirin. Yeah, exactly. And damn tasty beers. But yeah. Our next question was, do you have any challenges while you travel? Yeah. So both me and Amy suffer with anxiety quite a lot. I have diagnosed with panic disorder, so my body just goes into fight and flight all the time for basically no reason. I have medication for it. It's wonderful. And it's definitely helping me. But that's something we have to overcome as we travel. It is a bit of a constant battle, really.
I think the best way that we've kind of figured stuff out, because we both get quite tired quite easily. And I remember when we were in New York, for the first 3 days, we massively overdid it. We were up at 9, back in the house, back into the hotel at 10, out all day. And by the end of the third day, don't get me wrong, we were having a great time, but we both felt like shit. I remember
it definitely being tired definitely heightens both of our
anxiety. It was horrible. I booked we had this huge our friends got engaged, and I booked this really nice meal for us all to go to, and I got there, was so tired, I ended up having a panic attack and not eating anything in this restaurant that I was really excited about. So after that, we kind of learned a little bit, and we kind of changed what we were doing. So we realized if we take a few hours in the morning, just chill, and maybe don't start our day till 11, we end up having a way better time, and we manage to stay out a little bit later, and we sleep better, and we just have a nice time. And we don't even feel guilty about there's so much stigma about going away that you have to make the most of every single minute.
Oh yeah, get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, go get breakfast, and go do this, and pack 5 tasks in.
It ruined. They didn't ruin the first few days, but it made us. It struggled. We struggled.
Yeah, it definitely heightened our anxiety, and I would much rather have 7 great hours in the middle of a day than 12 where I've had a panic attack for 50% of it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So just coping mechanisms for ourselves, and just remember, everyone's different. Don't try and do...
Yeah, some of our friends were up and out earlier than us, but we just met up later on.
And some were up later and out later, and it's just
Yeah. Do what works for you, and don't feel guilty about having an hour or a morning in the hotel. If it's going to make you enjoy the rest of the trip, just do it. Just sleep. Have a nice shower.
Live your own damn life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next one was, what's a popular destination that you really don't care about going? For me, as much as I love Asian food, like I just mentioned before, I want to explore Japan really badly and South Korea really badly. But what I don't really kind of vibe with is Thailand and Bali and places like that, where people go on these gap year holidays where they find themselves, and they kind of, it feels, I don't know, I just don't care. It feels forced, yeah. And there's only so much beautiful scenery I can look at without having a kind of base for myself. I'm a city person. I like being in cities. And for me, I like to have a base of kind of centeredness. And centeredness for me, going back to the anxiety stuff, is sometimes just sat on a sofa and watching a bit of TV and relaxing.
I feel like you could look at big buildings all day. You could look at big, cool city buildings all day. But when you're look at this spectacular lake with all these forests, you're yeah, that's really nice. We go look at the buildings again now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like beautiful scenery, and we want to go explore Scotland and go to all the lochs and stuff. But I think if that's my entire holiday, then it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, what I don't want to do? I don't want to go to the Maldives and sit on a chair looking at the ocean while random people serve me fruit.
I do. The only thing in the Maldives that I actually want to do is go to the slides that go straight into the ocean. They look pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I think that's more just, you could take me to a water park and I'd have the same fun.
And I'm sure we could get something similar in New Zealand or something. But yeah, those kind of fake luxury holidays, they don't appeal to me. And some people might find that fancy. Yeah. And Saudi Arabia.
I'm going to say, mine was going to be Dubai. I could not care less.
Could not care less about that place.
The whole place just gives me the ick.
Yep.
It just makes me uncomfortable. I'm yeah. I don't know. It's just fake opulence.
Yeah. It's not for me.
No.
It's not for you, Jen.
It's just not for you.
It's not for you, Jen.
One of them was, what's something that you found out about each other that you didn't know before through travelling? I don't feel like we have the answer that people want for this, because I don't feel like we've found any weird, surprising quirks about each other.
No.
But I think it's just, the main thing is how surprising spending so much time on top of each other was easy.
Yeah,
Like,
we're both
that
very
was-
relaxed people. I think we found that like neither of us actually discovered a negative.
No.
I think that was the big thing. Like, we didn't discover something random, and then we didn't discover a negative, which is a positive.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, so like the fact that we're both nice and relaxed and we're both kind of like chill and we do vibe so well.
Yeah, I just feel like even like when we're like, don't get me wrong, we spend a lot of time with each other. Like, obviously it's broken up by work and stuff. But like our first big trip, New York was the first time we spent a solid amount of time together.
Yeah.
Like non-stop.
Yeah, the trips before that were usually 3 to 4 days,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Like, it wasn't like, you know, sometimes when you go with your friends and you love them, but like by the end of it, you're like, I just need some time by myself. I don't feel like we had that. And then even like when we were like a bit socially drained, we had to sit in the hotel room and like not talk to each other for a bit, but like not in a bad way. It's like when we come home on a train and we have that like half an hour on the long train journey home where we just
put some headphones in,
yeah.
lay there and go, I'm not going to talk to you for half an hour. It's literally nothing about you. I just need to melt my brain and recalibrate.
Like we do when we get home from work.
Yeah, exactly. Fun.
Yeah.
And then the final question was, what is your dream travel location? And we touched on this before during the train video that we did. I want to take the California Zephyr from San Francisco to Chicago, then from Chicago to New York, and go cross-country, coast to coast in America. That's what I want to do, either on a train or driving, one of the two. And I think I know Amy's answer. I'm going to come to the sofa and I know this answer is going to be Japan. I know it is. And that is my second answer. Aside from the coast to coast America trip, I really want to go to Japan.
Yeah, unfortunately, to be a very unsurprising creature. Yeah, Japan, it's been the one on top of the list for a really, really long time.
We've watched a lot of Japan travel content and different Japanese content, and yeah.
It's my favourite kind of food. It's such like cool cities and
it's
like
so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like incredibly different, but still a big city and not too scary.
Yeah.
Like not scary, but you know what I mean? Like it's not anxiety inducing. It's just, this is a cool city. You're going to drink some really cool Japanese beers and like Japanese whiskies and like eat all of our favourite foods all the time. You can have meat on the stick all the time.
All the time. Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be it. Like, I think it is, those are our two kind of like dream travel things. We don't really have any luxury ones outside of going on the Orient Express that we want to do, but
yeah, I also think these two dream holidays are doable as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and 2025 is what we've pegged for going to Tokyo. So
fingers crossed. I think we're going to do Tokyo this time, and basically maybe just Tokyo, other than maybe a day trip to Kyoto or something.
Yeah,
and then like another time do a bit more like of the more rural areas that are a bit less touristy.
So that's probably the first bucket list item that we're going to tick. So yeah, look forward to that. So yeah, big thank you to our friends who dipped in on Instagram and left us the questions for this. We just thought it'd be a really good way for you guys to get to know us a little bit more, and hopefully makes you want to subscribe to the channel.
See how cool we are.
And like and subscribe. And like and subscribe.
Please,
because we want to get monetized and take more holidays.
Yeah, taking a while, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's YouTube and that's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this.
And are we that special?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
If you say so, I'll believe you.
We are going to do an actual, sort of more of an adventurous one. We're going to Birmingham with some friends tomorrow.
Yep.
So there is going to be another actual
out there video,
adventurous video coming soon. That's not just us eating food, but there is going to be a lot of eating food.
And then we have got another date night one on the way as well. So there's plenty more to come, and stick with us. We want to talk to you, and we want to find out what your answers to these questions are. So
yeah, if there's anywhere you really want to go, if there's anything that stood out for anything you've done, leave us a comment.
Dip in,
and like you said, like and subscribe,
etc.